Welcome back to a new episode about how you could write to a file. I want to focus on the fopen function in PHP, and what this function allows us to do is to put the content into a file that PHP will automatically create for us. So let's create a new file in our superglobals, and let's call it fileput.php. What we're basically going to do is to put some content inside a new file. So let's create HTML tags, and let's create an opening and closing PHP tag. Let's save it, refresh the browser, and let's open our file. Let me zoom in a little bit. The first thing that we need to do is to declare a file that we want to put it into. So let's create a new variable called myFile and set it equal to the function fopen. And inside the parentheses, we will do something that might be pretty confusing. What we want to say inside double quotes, that a new file needs to be created. And where we want to do that is in our uploads folder, /, and the name of the file needs to be file.txt, so text. So what PHP basically will do is to go inside our uploads folder that we had from the previous episode, and inside our uploads folder, it's going to look for a file called file.txt. And if the file does not exist, it will create a new file. A fopen function takes two params. So right now we created our first one, which is the path. So let's add a comma. And the second param is called the mode param, which specifies the type of access you require to the stream. And since there are 11 types, I've got a link that I want to show you with the meaning of all of them. So let's copy paste it in the browser. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Let's scroll down. And well, you can see that there are 11 letters and some of them with a plus sign with different meaning. But I want to focus on the W. It's open for writing only. So let's go back to our code editor, and inside double quotes, let's write down W. So what we want to do now is, well, let's echo out variable myFile and see what happens. Let's save it, close off the php.net, refresh the browser, and the resource ID is #3. But if we open our uploads folder, you can see that the file just got created with the name file.txt. So let's open it, and it's empty. And that's good, because what we want to do now is to write some stuff to the file. So let's close it, and the way you write some stuff inside the file is to use a function called fwrite. And you can add them directly inside the fwrite, but that's not what we want. What we want is to create a new variable, so let's say text, and let's set it equal to my name is Dari. And we want to pass the text inside fwrite. But before we do that, fwrite takes two params. And the first param contains the name of the file where we want to write it to. So in our case, we want to write it to myFile fopen uploads into file.txt. So let's add myFile. And the second param is what you actually want to write inside myFile. And that's variable txt. So let's save it, refresh the browser, and open file.txt. And you can see that my name is Dari just got added inside our file.txt. So also, well, let's go back to our file put because we actually forgot something. Because whenever we are done with the fwrite function, we need to create a new function to close it. And well, the name of that function is fclose. And it takes one param, and that's the file that you actually want to close. And it's not, well, fwrite because that doesn't work, but we want to close myFile. So let's paste it in there. And if we save it and refresh it, nothing will happen, but the fwrite is actually closed. So what we want to do now is to, well, let's copy paste our variable text and our fwrite and paste it below it. And let's change my name of the second text variable to David. Let's save it. And if we refresh the browser, and well, let's close file.txt first. And let's open it again. And you can see that, well, my name is Dari and my name is David just got printed out in our file.txt. So another fun thing that I want to show you, which we can actually do, is to create a form, and the form has an input field with age. So let's say that you want to create a script that calculates the average age of users on the website. So outside of our PHP text, let's create a form with an action equal to, well, file put.php and the method equal to post. And we need an input field with a type equal to text. Name needs to be equal to age. And let's create another one with a type equal to submit and the name equal to submit. Let's save it, refresh the browser, and you can see that our input field and our button, well, our input submit button just appeared. And let's go up and let's remove the second text variable and fWrite because we don't need it right now. And what we can do is to replace my, well, name first with my age is, and by name we want to concatenate it from superglobal post, and inside brackets we want to pass in age. And we also need a break after our age, otherwise they will all be printed out on the same line. So let's add a punctuation mark. Inside double quotes, I want to write down /n. So let's save it, refresh the browser, and we're getting an undefined index because, well, we actually have to put it in an if statement. Well, let's actually do that. So let's create an if statement, and let's say if is set, superglobal post, and submit button is clicked. If that's actually true, let's place my file and our variable inside our if statement, and the last two as well. So let's style it. Let's go back, open file put again, and let's remove our echo, refresh the browser, and our error just disappeared. So let's enter some ages. So let's say 44, submit, 55, submit, 24 or 23, submit, and let's do one more, which is equal to 8. If we open our file.txt, you can see that only the first age got printed out, and this is because we're using the W second param in our fopen. And what this basically does, it overwrites the variable text every single time. And this is pretty important to know because right now we're not dealing with something big, but let's say that you're actually working on something big, and every time a user submits something, the previous age will disappear, and that's not what we want. So let's change the W to A, save it, refresh. Well, let's go back to our superglobals folder and let's open file put again. And let's submit again a couple ages, 44, and let's close off files.txt, 23, 1, 80. Let's open file.txt again, and you can see that my ages 8, 44, 23, 1, and 80 are all printed out on the screen. In the next episode, I want to focus on how we could actually read everything on our file.txt inside the browser. This was it for this episode. If you do enjoy my content and you want to see more, leave this video a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button.